Well, hello there. How are you going today? Hope everything is fine and dandy and you're part of this realm. And today we're going to have a look at some more videos that show us the strangeness of the place that we are inhabiting. It's getting crazy out there, right? With the whole UFO agenda, new viruses that are coming, and a whole lot more. So let's jump into it.
People are walking away with free items because of a huge flaw in the self-checkout system. It's a trend online. This guy just put a barcode of a bunch of bananas on this TV. He's scanned it and he's going to pay 43 cents for that brand new TV. And that is because people don't care anymore. And he's realized.
He's right. People don't care. Would you do this?
He's handing his receipt to the lady at the door on his way out, and she doesn't care. And she's on minimum wage. Why would she? It's a huge critical flaw because there's no oversight on purchased items anymore. This guy just grabbed a mango, put the barcode on a PlayStation 5, pays 50 cents for a brand new PlayStation 5. The guy doesn't care at the door. It's a huge critical flaw, and it's actually become a trend online. This guy just put an iPhone inside a bag of chips. He pays for the bag of chips. He goes out, brand new iPhone. And they test this to see how far they could go. An oven. This guy literally grabbed an oven and he paid 20 cents, the price of a pencil, for the oven and walks out with it. This is an insane trend, but it was bound to happen.
Well, what do you think about that one? I mean, I don't know what to say about that, really. I mean, these companies are ripping us off blind. We know that all this stuff, and especially the iPhones, right? They're made for like under $100 in China, and we have to pay what, $2,000, $1,500 for them. It's crazy, right? So, on that hand, I think why not? Why not? They've been ripping us off, stealing our money for, eons, right? But of course, stealing, guys, stealing is bad. We shouldn't be doing it, just because of the I guess the karmic implications. But I mean, seriously, at this point, what do you think? Let me know. And like he says, the people working in these shops, they're getting paid nothing, right? They can hardly afford to live even after they work a full-time job. So why would they care? Of course they don't care. They don't care about the company. The company doesn't care about them. So it's an interesting one, this one, isn't it? Yes, we shouldn't steal, but these corporations hate us and they have been making, tens of thousands of percent in profit on everything for decades, right? So what do you do? And especially if people can't afford to live and can't afford to do things like replace ovens, would you pay 20 cents for a brand new oven? It's an interesting question, that one. So let me know what you think.
Breaking news here in batshit bonkers Britain, where the Welsh Government, Labour, have asked nurseries and toddler groups to report any 3-year-olds that might be seen indulging in racist behaviour and log it as a hate incident. Presumably this is because Plaid Cymru thinks that by picking on 3-year-olds it will make them look more like grown-ups. If you do need to go to a police station to report the hate crime committed by a 3-year-old, you need to leave by last Wednesday because the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit in Wales means you won't get there till next Thursday. In other news, Reform pulled a blinder in order to distract from Nigel's 5 million crypto bung from some weirdo in Thailand. They've come out and said that they're going to put illegal detention centres wherever people vote Green. And this is genius because it's always the holier-than-thou people, who live in posh places, who say refugees welcome, asylum seekers welcome, I mean, as long as it's not near my £4 million home or my private school for my kids or my private medical care, then absolutely put the detention centres near them, put them near the people who say they support them, and then see what happens. And finally, it's good news for the plague cruise, the rat shit cruise ship, where you get this kind of virus from rat shit that's in the food. 3 are dead, and the captain and the ship's doctor need emergency help because they're not looking too promising either. It's going to dock in Gran Canaria, I believe. So if you're on hollybobs in Gran Canaria, may I just suggest giving the port area a bit of a miss for the next couple of days. That's it, my darlings. Everything's just going swimmingly here in Batshit Bonkers Britain.
Well, thanks, Katie. That's crazy. That's insane. 3-year-olds as racists. I mean, is that real? I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. And Wales, is that true as well? Do they have a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit? Because that's crazy. You can walk faster than that. That's insane. And of course, the cruise ship. We've all heard about the cruise ship and the new virus, right? The rat poo virus. She was saying it was in the food. I haven't looked into it that deeply, but is that true? I mean, there's so much coming out about that cruise, and it looks like a massive psyop, of course, right? We're now onto rats, right? We've been through bats, pigs, birds, and now we're onto rats, right? And of course, it started way back with mad cow disease, right? It's all the animals. They're trying to get us. Such an agenda. Crazy, crazy, strange realm we're living in.
Okay, breaking news. This is what we're currently dealing with. That is one of the 3 suspected hantavirus patients who were evacuated off of the ship just a few hours ago, and they're off to get medical treatment in the Netherlands. That leaves a total of 146 people remaining from 23 different countries on board. And also, big update, health officials from Argentina think they may have now traced down the original source of this outbreak. Now, the AP report that it may have been the Dutch couple who contracted this virus while visiting a landfill during a bird watching tour in Argentina. It's also believed that that was the elderly couple who had passed away, both of them, one of which on the way home. The WHO are also tracing around 69 close contacts of the people who had previously been on the ship but left before anyone suspected a virus may have been present. They're also urging passengers who took this flight from St. Helena to Johannesburg on April the 25th to contact health authorities. But the tricky part in all of this is that this is a virus that can lay dormant up to 8 weeks. So I'll keep you guys updated as we know more.
Contracted from a rubbish tip while a couple were out bird watching. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, what birds were they watching? Seagulls? That's all we get at the tip. I mean, the stories are just so dumb. It's hard to take any of them seriously, and that's why we shouldn't, guys. This is all a show. It's an act. You know, the greatest show on earth. All the world is a stage, right? They tell us these things. And clearly, this is silly. It's not real. They're just trying to push an agenda just like they did back in 2020. The same thing, right? And they have been trying to roll this out, right? Like I said, with all the other viruses. I mean, do you even believe in airborne viruses, virology? Because if you look into that, there's no proof that it actually can happen. This whole someone can breathe and you can catch their virus. There's no proof of it. There's a lot of propaganda about it, but I've seen no proof. But what do you think? A virus is even real? And do you think that this has any validity at all? Or is it just another stupid story? And the stories are getting stupider and stupider because these elites, these, whatever you want to call them, demons, satanic, pedophile, psychopaths, don't have any imagination, right? So they've rewritten the script so many times that it's just getting ridiculous.
You know, I see so many comments like this. I hear so many people say the same thing. In the last 3 years, the mantra across the truth community has been, oh, they're all still asleep. They're not waking up fast enough. Hurry up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. People. I have been awake, for lack of a better word, for the past 20 years. 20 years ago, I read my first Ike book. And I realized what the fuck was going on. Do you know how alone I felt back then? just to give you an example, I worked in a factory at the time of about 400 people. And of those 400 people, there were probably only about 3 of us aware. Standing on our soapboxes, shouting and screaming, New World Order's coming, New World Order's coming. Oh, you crazy. You absolutely just slated and called conspiracy tinfoil hats, the same as we are today. But back then, there was nobody to rely on. There was none of this unity, this togetherness. In the last 3 years, people, this awakening has taken such a roller coaster ride into awake. It's just been like one way. You have no idea how quickly this has happened in the last 3 years. I know it's frustrating. I know you all just want this to hurry up and happen now, and waiting 3 years worth of waiting seems like a lifetime to you. But trust me, for those of us that have been awake for a very long time, this is absolutely snowballing. Have faith. The Great Awakening is here, and it has never moved as fast as this in the whole time I've ever known. Please keep the faith. It is happening.
I agree. It's happening. Have you seen it? Are you noticing that more people are, waking up, for want of a better term? It's definitely, we're hitting the parabol, right? It's a parabolic curve, and we're hitting the upswing. We really are. And it's because the system is breaking down, and it's getting so ridiculous. They can't even make up believable stories anymore. It's like that joke, right? What's the difference between the truth and a conspiracy? Well, at the moment, it's about an hour, right? They put these stories out, and within an hour, people have ripped them apart. It's crazy. But how long have you been awake? Are you new to all this? I'm a lifer, is what I say. I've as long as I can remember, I knew there was something very weird and wrong going on down here. So I'm up near the 50-year mark, but definitely since my teens, I was, reading all the books. Started with like Graham Hancock type stuff. Before that, it was more the mind stuff, I guess, self-help, learning about my mind and how it works and all that kind of stuff. And then, when the internet came out, I was in, man. I was like, oh my God, answers. I can ask questions and get answers. Well, that's what they told me. Here we are still trying to get proper answers out of the internet, right? But will we ever? Probably not, because it's a controlled medium and it is AI, right? It's the false light, the jinn, the false god, the 2D world, the simulation. But the one thing about this awakening is we really have to be careful about the information we take on. And this is why I'm always saying, don't judge stuff. Don't judge anything as right or wrong. Like, it's interesting until you get more information, right? More reference points. Then you start to form a perspective, because there's a lot of silliness out there, like the whole UFO agenda. That's so blatantly, a psyop. It's crazy, right? If at any point all the governments and the officials and everyone's agreeing on the same thing, it's false. This is exactly what happened in 2020. And then we have simulation theory, right? The Earth isn't real. It's a prison planet, all this kind of stuff. So I don't believe in any of that at all. And I actually got a comment. I was going through the comments yesterday, and someone was telling me, like, why do I believe it's a prison planet? And I don't. I've never believed in simulation theory. I've never believed that it's a prison planet ever. So I'm not sure where they got that idea, but it's definitely nothing that I've ever believed, like, ever. Of course, here I show lots of different videos. I'm not going to just show my point of view, because that doesn't help anything, right? We need many points of views to be able to make an actual decision. And the other thing I just want to mention is the Is the Great Awakening here, or is it just another psyop? Let me know in the comments.
These are the three power players in making the prophecy of Revelation, the biblical prophecy, also known as the Revelation of John, that you can find at the end of every Bible. These are the guys that are forcing the prophecy to occur. Let's put it this way. There are certain things that have to happen in Revelation for it to be the second coming of Christ, right? For it to be like the end times, but not the end of the world. It's like the rebirth of the new world. And clearly when we're talking about prophecies, I mean, all we need is a timeline shift for it to not be able to happen. So why do I think Trump, Netanyahu, and Hegseth are the ones pushing this prophecy? Beyond the evident movements that they are making, they are literally forcing certain things to occur. Example, when we're talking about the first seal, it's all about the white horse. Story goes like this, that when the first seal is opened, a rider on a white horse appears. He's carrying a bow and he goes out to conquer. I believe that this white horse out to conquer persona character is Trump. Many interpretations talk about this conquest and rise of power, rulers or empires that expand their control all over the world. Okay, sounds about right. Okay, now the second seal, the red horse, is what I will connect to what I believe Netanyahu. So the second seal is open, the red horse appears, the rider is given power to take peace from earth, and people begin killing one another. And this guy, he carries a large sword. On another hand, we could also see Putin in this light, but Netanyahu, Putin, you know what I mean? I mean, not because I say so, it's just what they're doing. So this seal represents war, bloodshed, and conflict spreading across nations. Since it's not just Ukraine, Russia, Ukraine, nations, I would see why I would say it's more Netanyahu, because he's going towards the other nations. Regardless if he's saying they're coming after me, I'm not going to get into that. What I'm saying is he represents the red horse. He fits. The third seal, when it's opened, here appears the black horse. This seal is represented by economic collapse, famine, and I don't know why. Let's say my intuitive abilities. They're pointing at Trump, Musk. I keep on getting these two people. It doesn't mean that it's them. It just means that's the psychic imagery I'm getting from it. The fourth seal, the pale horse, he brings on war, represents mass death through war, famine, disease, and disasters. Again, Netanyahu, but using Trump. I'm just getting these images of these two people. Now the fifth seal, the cry of the martyrs. I think that this was, as I said, forced prophecy. They know what they're doing. The fourth seal, the silencing of the martyrs, is all about this herald that was silenced. And look at that, coincides with Charlie Kirk. You know, he was talking, he was exposing truths, and his last truth was that he wanted the Epstein files released and that he was distancing himself from the Israeli donors. The seal represents persecution of believers, suffering, crying out to God. And then we go on to the sixth seal that has not happened yet, but I can connect this, what I think to be with extraterrestrial disclosure, Project Blue Beam, they're gonna make us think that we're under attack, something like that. Anyway, that's a sixth seal, cosmic upheaval. Seventh seal is a silence in heaven, and then certain things happen. But I do not believe that we have broken the sixth and seventh seal. So, with this said, what do you think? I mean, again, this is my intuition and research talking. I believe that they are forcing the prophecy of Revelation to come true ahead of times, and it has to do with Trump, Netanyahu, and Hegseth.
Well, there is a lot of talk about prophecy of late. I definitely agree that it's engineered. It's engineered. We know the weather is fake. It's engineered weather, right? Geoengineering. We've all seen the lines in the skies. The economic situation, engineered, right? We know this. We know it's a totally controlled system. Right? The whole economic system. That's why we have fiat money based on nothing so it can be manipulated. Right? All of this stuff that they're talking about that was prophecy in the Bible and other books, they are creating. They are clearly creating it. And by the way, apocalypse means the unveiling. That's all it means, the unveiling. Right? This whole four horsemen and apocalypse means doom and gloom and the end of the world. It's got no basis in anything apart from the propaganda that is spread. Like, it really doesn't. And like, my personal view at this point is that we know they have completely altered the Bible, right? The Council of Nicaea, 325 AD. They literally went in, and there was 4 of those councils, I believe. They went in and they totally edited the book. That's why the book of Enoch is no longer in the Bible. They went in and they took out all these books, right? The book of Jasher, all these other books were taken out. The book of Giants, the book of Adam and Eve, all the extra canon books, as they call them now. And the many translations, right? It's been translated from language to language to language, and they've changed the words and the meaning. It's so edited that they have literally rewritten the Bible to make it give the message that they want, and that is all of their prophecy, which they are now fulfilling and making it true, right? Engineering the prophecy in the Bible so that we think it's coming true. That's my point of view anyway at this point. But what do you think? Is all of this stuff real? Is it all prophecy? That's showing us the end of the world and all this stuff? Or is it just another big, massive, long-term psyop?
It is a trap. Listen to me. A lot of these big mega pastors have signed up with the devil himself. You may have already heard this video, but you did not hear what I'm about to tell you. Because I warned of this 2 years ago after interviewing a very big pastor who got offered this deal. They are going to be really mad at me for this one. Happy, healthy, can swim, all that good stuff. What do I mean? Let's back up. First off, it's pretty funny how Katy Perry's popping out as an ET with 6 fingers, right? Nephilim, 6 fingers, get it? So let me tell you how this started. I saw a really weird tweet on Twitter, and right when I saw it, I was like, it's go time. So right now, as this guy said, all these pastors got together in a certain state to be briefed on these ETs or this demonic stuff, right? Of course, it is demonic, but they always give you part of the truth. And now we have said pastors coming out and warning everyone, you're about to see these demons everywhere in our realm. So let's go back 2 years ago. I'm interviewing a very popular pastor who's at all of these speaking events. He's friends with all these other mega pastors. I'm gonna leave his name out for his safety, but what he told me on the off-air part was he was invited to something very strange that included NDAs from FEMA. I wonder why they'd be getting involved with pastors. And guess what? A whole bunch of mega pastors got them. And he knows a whole bunch that signed up with them. So these last 2 years, I've been just waiting for these mega pastors to start, getting ready to deceive people. And I wake up and I saw the tweet. And the tweet has to do with demons being everywhere and pastors being able to control their church. So you say, how is it a bad thing? Sounds like a good thing. They give you a little bit of the truth, but then guess what? So we get attacked by these demonic, the spiritual wickedness in high places, right? Boom, obviously they're bad, right? But when the other ones come, the white ones come, they're going to say those are the good guys. This falls in line with finding Jesus' body in the desert. This also falls in with the things on Mars that prove the Bible's not real. Also links in perfectly with BB and Voice the Skull, and we're going to see our God in the sky. Really? That sounds far-fetched? Well, let's think. 40s, desert, rituals, Werner Braun, Jack Parsons, Walt Disney, Nashaw, Aleister Crowley, Summoning Grays. Early 80s, Project BB leaks. 2026, a whole bunch of people start going missing about this very thing. It's about to get real. Spread the word. Believe nobody.
Well, I think that's good advice. Believe nobody. You've got to make up your own decision, right? At this point, there's so much coming out. There's so many different points of views. There's so many agendas being run. You have to be autodidactic, guys. You have to be self-taught. You really do. Just take the information, build up more reference points, and you will come to your own conclusion, your own perspective. All the pastors, I'm just wondering, do they all, what churches are these? Are these the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster? I've always found the word pastor a bit strange for, I guess we'd call them priests in Australia. We don't call them pastors. Pastor here is spaghetti. But anyway, yes, it's all engineered. And that guy, I think his name's Henry, he's obviously a Christian, and he's, coming from that perspective. And, I do get the story, that they talk about fallen angels. I definitely think that there are evil spirits, beings, whatever you want to call them, down here. Of course, they're not coming back from the sky because they are in control right now. Clearly, look what's going on. They are doing everything they can to destroy our lives and poison us. They are clearly the evil ones that are spoken about throughout all the religions, ancient texts, all that stuff. They're already here. They're not coming back. So there is no alien invasion because there is no space, right? It's all an agenda, right? To get people confused, to get them more controllable. And basically, it's the old scam, the old story. Create a problem, offer a solution that the people pretty much have to take, and then these elites get to roll out their new world order agenda. So, like Henry said, Moon Henry, I think that's his name, don't believe anyone. Come to your own conclusions. And while I've got you here, guys, thanks for spending some time with me. I hope you're enjoying this. Please do give me a like if you're enjoying this video. Leave me your comments, share it, hype it up, all that kind of stuff if you can. And make sure you're subscribed.
I thought this was a cool video of the energy coming from cathedrals. Check this out. So all the cathedrals, sacred buildings, they were all built on ley lines. And it's interesting because the kingdoms would make dowsing illegal for you to find the energy ley lines. Now look at that. That is the manipulation of the ether right there. That's what these buildings would do. So they would heal the people because they are tuned into the Earth's grid. And people can look into the Bovis scale. It was a dowsing scale where they would look up sacred buildings and they would look up the energy of those sacred buildings. And the higher the scale, the more the sacred energy. But I just wanted to share this because I thought it's a really cool example of the energy that we cannot see and is only picked up at selected times.
There you go. Do you believe that there is ether energy, free energy all around us that can be tapped into, and that this is what the cathedrals and the star forts and other monuments and temples and pyramids are built for? Right? They're all energy machines. That's what I believe at the moment. That's what all my research has showed me. I've been to the Bosnian pyramid. I've been to many star forts as well and cathedrals. They all have a certain feel. The Bosnian pyramid, that they've used machines and they have, calculated, right, this ether energy coming out the top of it. It's like 5 meters wide. It's this big funnel of energy shooting up to the sky. Right? It's been verified. So this stuff is going on, and there are other videos of cathedrals or temples with this ether energy still happening. There's one in, I think it's Cambodia, that's been around for quite a few years, and others. But yeah, do you believe this is the ether energy, and is this what they've stolen, one of the things that they've stolen, so that they can control us and sell us their grid energy, right? Because ether is earth energy. It's free. It's for the people. It's to enhance our lives and make it better for us, where the grid energy is the exact opposite. It's a closed circuit that we have to pay for. And the frequencies coming off the power lines, off the wiring in your house even, is not good for us. Right? It's not. It's at the wrong frequency. So, yeah, what do you think? Is free energy real?
You have to see this. The builders of this place took a math equation that literally transforms vibration. It's called the Fourier transform, and turned it into a building. Don't believe me? I'll prove it to you. This is a synthesizer. I use it to make wubs. Those are wubs. Chichen Itza takes a sine wave and turns it into a square wave.
I'm not sure that they were wubs. They sound more like belches, burps to me.
You increase the semitones.
It's like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Remember that, when he was playing his keyboard and making burp sounds?
By the same amount of levels in Chichen Itza. How about visually? Somatic patterns show sound through a metal plate. They have an equation that can be converted into something that we can use to simulate those patterns. The peaks and the valleys show the shape of the sound. Other than making really cool graphics, we can also use this to reveal some hidden architecture and some really old stuff like Borobudur. The architecture is a mirror of the frequency. As we move up in frequency, the patterns get smoother and more complex. And within 100 hertz of that frequency that I just played, you get the architecture of Chichen Itza. Sonically and mathematically. Square waves are binary. You know what else is binary? Biology. If we use a pyramid to illustrate the sequence of biology, you get the binary sequence counting downwards. Counting diagonally, you get the golden ratio that links everything together proportionately. So how would this work? Well, you would take a seed and you would put it up in this chamber, which is exactly what the Mayans did, and then you'd wait till the feathered serpent returns to the ground. At this point, water does the rest of the heavy lifting, having the uncanny ability to reflect the flowers and fruits of which the products are. And if you're still skeptical, just remember that the most biodiverse region on the planet has the highest concentration of pyramids on the planet. This is temple technology, and I am Baseforge, and this is not the only example.
Well, there you go. Cymatics turn into a 3D model. Is that what they're building these temples and sacred buildings off? And sacred, as in energy, earth energy, right? Collectors. And it does look like that's what's going on here. That this is the technology of the old world, the recent advanced civilization that some call Tartaria, that we have not been taught about. It's the same as crop circles, right? The same cymatic, sacred geometric patterns come out. And if you turn them into 3D, they start to resemble a lot of the pyramids and other, temples around the world. And this is what they were based on, because they knew about the free ether energy, the earth energies, the grid lines, the ley lines, all this stuff. The one thing I don't agree with from Baseforge there is that nature is binary. He said nature's binary because of mitosis. Obviously cells, they go from one, they split into two. But then what do they split into? Right? 4, 16. It's doubling. It's a doubling, which is different than binary code. Binary is just 0 and 1, 0 and 1, on, off, black, white. Right? There's no growth. There's no expansion in binary. In nature, all there is expansion, and it's doubling. It's like basically vortex mathematics. If you've looked into that, it's all based on doubling. So I disagree with him there. But all the other stuff he said, I totally agree with. Let me know your thoughts.
You ever felt like you're stuck in life, like you're just not free? I felt that multiple times in my life, especially when I was in prison. When I was 19 years old, I ran away barefooted and shirtless from 5 police units in rural Georgia, and nobody saw me for almost 2 years. They caught me 2 days after my 21st birthday, and I did 2.5 years in prison. When I was released 15 years ago, I immediately set out doing exactly what everybody else told me, because I figured what I was doing was not working. The goal set before me was be a productive member of society, and that's what I did. Got a job, I met a girl, I got a better job, got married, got my builder's license, I bought my first house, I bought another house, I got my electrical license, and I kept going, stacking possessions and things that society had told me to do in order to fit in. I chaired meetings in AA, I stayed sober for 13 years, hell, I won ultra marathons, and it worked. I built a $7 million portfolio without a mortgage, was married with 2 kids, living on 6 acres in a perfect house, and everything was right. Except for me. There was something inside of me trying to get out, but it couldn't because it was blocked off. I felt like I was screaming without a mouth, and now I know why. I was living a complete lie. See, the more I put into the system, the further it sucked me into their ideologies, into their lifestyle, into their plastic commercialism and capitalism. And I found that part of me was dying. I was living a life measured by metrics like money and matrimony and materialism. One day it ended out of the blue. My wife told me she was still a lesbian and wanted a divorce, and the dream life came crashing down. Can anybody identify with working their ass off and doing everything everybody told them and actually succeeding at it just to have it taken away from them by somebody who betrayed them? I'd given her everything, but it wasn't enough. They say your lowest point is the path to your highest self, and they're right. Because after she told me she wanted a divorce, I bought my first van. Because I needed solar, I started with solar power. Then I started traveling the US. Then I started traveling the world, and now I'm off-grid in Costa Rica. And I'm living the life I've always wanted to live. But it wasn't easy. I feel like there's a ton of people out there who identify with the things I'm telling them. I'm out. I'm free. I'm out of the system. I'm growing all my food here. I got lobster and tilapia in the pond. I have a solar system over there. There's no debt on the property. I figured it out. But now, what do? I have everything I want. I'm not sure, but I think what I should do now is help other people walk this same path to freedom that I have. My name is Joe Fells. I live for freedom, not finance. And one day, maybe I'll help you find your free, just like me.
Well, thanks, Joe. Yeah, how do you feel, guys? Feel trapped in the system? Are you still in the system? Are you out? Are you trying to get out? How successful have you been? Because, I totally agree with what he says. The more you go into the system, the more it controls you. The more, the less freedom and opportunity you have, definitely, but it makes it harder and harder to get out, right, once you're in, because you have much more to lose. right? That's why they say get a job, get married, buy a house. Because why? Because then it makes it so much harder for you to get out if you've got a mortgage and a family to look after. Like I did it, man. I did it for 30 years, 25, 30 years, right? I worked a lot, 60-hour weeks most weeks, right? And I did not like it. I really didn't like it because I knew the whole way through that the system was a scam. And I was always, trying to get out, building businesses, working for myself, all this stuff. And then, of course, 2020 hit and my life, had a bit of a domino effect, right? It was just boom, 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 one thing after another. And, it was a very bad time in my life. A lot of stuff happened that definitely wasn't good. But from that, I got free. Like I'm not in the system really anymore. Like this is what I do. I make videos. I do live shows with Tartaria Australia, right? So this is what we're doing. We're, printing a newspaper now as well. We're creating that. So I'm pretty much outside the system and spending most of my time, getting people to ask better questions about their life and where they're going. So, I'm definitely not a millionaire like old Joe there, but I'm definitely in a better position than I was and much happier than I was when I was in the system. So how are you going? Are you still in? Are you out? Are you half out? And what are your results? Let us know in the comments.
They are now comparing Trump to the second coming of Christ Jesus. No, I'm not kidding.
Trump is better than sliced bread.
And let me stop you right there. Right before you say it's fake news, it's CNN. Wake up. They all work together. It's 2026. Newsmax, Fox, CNN, NBC, they're all posting it. But just wait, because after the video, I need to show you something.
I think he's almost the second coming, in my humble opinion. I think he's done a fantastic job. He's got a very difficult job. The Pope's got a tough job. Got issues in the church.
And all the news channels are posting this. I told you they want you to think that Trump is the Antichrist himself. They want you to think that. As if everything we've already seen the last year was not enough. They have also compared his suffering to the suffering of Christ on the cross. Mar-a-Lago's Golden Goat, where it says, in Trump we trust instead of God. In 2024, on the Hush Money case, Trump posted Psalm 22, trying to draw a parallel from his legal persecution to the persecution of Jesus on the cross, of which Paula White came out and agreed with him that he was suffering the same way, or like the same way that we saw with Jesus. He's been signing Bibles this year and also in 2019. Wake up, don't y'all understand what's happening? There's a political narrative being crafted, and why is it that they want you to think that Trump is the Antichrist? Well, story for a different day. Let me know what you think though in the comments. And besides all that, let me ask you, when are you going to say enough is enough?
Well, now I hope enough is definitely enough. I'm over it. This is just getting crazy out there, right? I'm definitely not fearful. I'm not scared of it all. It's just a big, stupid show to me by these pathetic, soulless, unimaginative psychopaths. Like, yes, but I mean, the thing is, I go out and sit on my veranda and look out at nature and it's all good. The birds are there chirping, it's peaceful. All of this stuff that's in the 2D world is not real, right, in my life. And I'm sure that for most of you out there, it's pretty much the same. Right? Most of this stuff is coming through the simulation that they're asking us to join, right? The 2D world, the AI, the internet, but we have a choice. But most of it is fake. It doesn't affect us. And of course, they are definitely pushing this big religious agenda, yes, because again, engineered apocalypse, right? That's what it's all about at the moment. And this has to do with all of their, all these writings they've put out from all their different, clubs, the Trilateral Commission and Bilderberg and all these things. They want a third world war, but they want it to be religious, right? Which is what's going on at the moment, right? They want it to be Muslim versus Christianity, right? But don't look at the small hats, right? Don't look there. Don't look at the politicians doing all this stuff. No, look at your neighbor and blame them and go and fight them. That's what they want. When, in my opinion, what we all need to do is understand we're all humans. We've all been programmed. We've all been manipulated. We've all been put into a state of stress and lack, and it's all by a certain group of people, right? The small hats, the Zionists, the Ashkenazis, and their henchmen, which are the politicians and the media people and the celebrities, right? It's all a big act. It's all a big show. It's all a big club, and we ain't in it.
Okay, so explain to me why it is that when you make a video talking about how the elites and higher ups are worshiping Satan, eating babies, doing ritualistic sacrifices, and just straight demonic shit and talking about demonic symbolism, that video goes viral and you get tons of algorithm support. Talk about how they have to do it and they have to put things right in our face because of karmic retribution, viral. Then you make a video talking about how they're not worshiping Satan and they don't worship the devil and the demonic symbolism is intentionally put in your face for other reasons. That video gets no views and the algorithm won't push that video. When the ones who are supposedly doing these satanic rituals are the ones who are in control of this app and the algorithm. Why would they intentionally be pushing the devil worshipping videos but suppressing the people who are saying they're not worshipping the devil? Any video I have talking about satanic symbolism or eating babies or any of that, viral. Hidden in plain sight, Freemasons, all of that, viral. This is the most censored app. Why wouldn't that be labeled misinformation and taken down? Never mind get pushed and go viral, unless it's exactly what they want all of us to think. Because if you believe that they're worshiping Satan, then that furthers your belief in God and religion. And Christianity is the agenda right now. Now go watch the video before this one. Notice how it's getting no views, even though I said, no, they're not devil worshippers. It's because what I'm saying is straight facts, and they don't like that.
Well, what do you think about that opinion? I mean, I think he's a smart person. He sounds like an autodidactic, right? He's self-educated. He's not following the crowd. And I have had that same question for quite a few years. If it's the same people that are doing all this stuff that own all the social media and are doing all the censoring, then why are they letting all this stuff out? Why are they letting all these videos go out that, you know, people calling them, you know, baby eaters and all these rituals? I mean, it's a good question. And at the end of the day, we don't know this is true. We know that there's a lot of information out there on it. As far as I can tell, that they do their sacrifices, they do this stuff, but I mean, it's a subtlety, isn't it? Now, they want us to believe that they worship the devil because, as he said, that makes God, basically the Christian God, valid. And so people go, oh my God, devil bad, he's coming back, let's go follow God. The Old Testament God is Baal, who literally wanted you to worship him and sacrifice your children to him. Okay, and Yahweh, right, the same thing. He's the one who gave the ark and told people to go across and basically kill all the men, women, and children and destroy the cities. That's the Old Testament God. Okay, that is, in my opinion, the devil. And when I say devil is just evil with the D at the start, right? So devil is evil, God is just good, right? With the one of the O's taken out of it. So all they're really saying is good and evil. But yeah, what's the agenda? Like, what do they do? I believe that definitely what they're telling us, what they're putting out and letting go viral is clearly not the truth. I think their God is electricity, the false light, smokeless fire, the AI, the simulation that they're trying to bring in, that they are telling everyone is amazing and good, right? And it's just that it's going to help them. It's going to benefit us all. You won't have to work anymore. Universal income, everything will be done for you. That's evil. If everything is done for you, you're going to end up doing nothing for yourself.
The Scientology speedrun trend has become so big. All of the Scientology churches around Canada and America have had to remove the doorknobs from their doors and close them down for the first time ever since Scientology began. If you don't know, the trend involves filming and running inside of a Scientology church to see how far through the church you can get. And it's just, look, you can see in this video, there's dozens and dozens of kids that just speed run through wearing masks, and it's kind of put the Scientology church in a kind of a catch-22 scenario. They need to recruit people from the streets, so they need to bring people in from the streets to recruit them. But they can't because these kids are, as you can see here, they're linking arms to try and stop them from getting through the church because they had security guards. But that's how this worked out. They just rip through them and just run through. It's wild.
It's wild and it's funny. Scientology. I mean, it's kind of in the name, right? Science. It's, worship science, right? It's basically networking. It's a networking scam for spiritualism, of course, created by L. Ron Hubbard, right? One of the Lites, who was, of course, closely related to Walt Disney, Jack Parsons, and that's all the NASA story. We heard a bit about that before from Moon Henry, how NASA, if you follow, the timeline backwards, it's all evil, right? Devil worship, evil worship. It's all this creating this fake alien agenda. That's what it's all about. And they were, obviously bringing in all these spirits that they talk about, Lamb, Aleister Crowley, all this stuff. Obviously, we know about Disney and Disneyland and what's going on there. So all this bunch of weird psychos, right, getting together and working out how to manipulate us and steal our money. That's really what Scientology and NASA is. Let me know your thoughts. What are your experiences? Have you gone in? Have you done one of their, are they Theton? I can't remember. The tests where they tell you how many of these ancient, galactic spirits have attached to you that you need to get rid of. Have you done one? How did you go? I actually did go into a Scientology, years ago when I was like 20 or something, when I was out with my sister and cousins, and, well, I just thought they were all full of crap, to tell you the truth, so it didn't do much to me. But what's your experience with them?
Did you guys know that it was only Zechariah Stitchin that talks about the fallen angels being extraterrestrials and that God of the Bible is from another planet called Nibiru? Now, here I was thinking for so many years that it was like mainstream, that he wasn't the only one that translated the tablets. The first translations were from the 1800s. It had nothing to do with him. So this is the difference, the key difference between the Zechariah Stitchin books and the mainstream storyline. The mainstream storyline talks about Anu the sky god, Enki, Enlil. They are celestial beings. They do not mention another planet. They do not mention Nibiru. And they do not mention hybrid creatures. They talk about these gods getting their essence and mixing it with the clay of earth. See what I mean? It's very symbolic speech. Now, what Zechariah Stitchin was, he interpreted those figures of speech and gave it a meaning, presenting very good evidence, like it can totally be. But this is the thing. The main core evidence of the Stitchin work is that Alalu, while he was coming to Earth, described all the planets from the outside going towards the inside. Here's the thing, though. Other people that translated these texts say that that is not present. Now, of course, they could be lying. We all know that mainstream could possibly, there's always a possibility, that they're not telling the whole truth because it would challenge too many narratives. So, for that reason, let's give Zechariah Stitchin the benefit of the doubt. Now, in my case, I believed him because his stories, when I opened these books, I was reading stories that I already knew. They were part of these past life memories I had. So that's why he got my trust. But what if he did make a mistake? What if these are celestial beings and it's more like what the Gnostics say and not what the alleged Stitchin Anunnaki stories say? Because when we look at things like the Epic of Gilgamesh, they don't talk about this god that they have to use the internet to communicate with, like Stitchin said. They talk about Samashtu, the sun god, that they communicate with him telepathically and in dreams. Do you see how it goes from spiritual to technological in a shift? So with this said, What do you think? Because I'm going to get into it more later on in a approfondito, in a more elaborate video. But what do you think? Do you believe the Stitchin version that they're extraterrestrials? Or do you believe the mainstream that talks about celestial beings, but from other dimensions and not another planet?
Yes, what do you believe? And she's right. Sitchin, all of that information, that whole storyline comes from one person who was writing books and making money off it. Science fiction is what it was. And of course, that helped build the space agenda, the space aliens, which, of course, they're trying to push really big now, right? The aliens are coming. Right? This is part of the whole thing. Scientology as well, right? It's the same kind of story about this God who, I don't know, what happens? They have a war and he puts people in the sun or something and it blows over, all this sciencey space stuff, right? It's building a narrative. And we are now at the end where they're trying to engineer prophecy, right? They're trying to make all this stuff come true that we've been programmed with, right? It's just like the reptilians, right? Does anyone remember the show from the 80s? Early, I think it was like 83, 84. It was called V, right? And it's where we got invaded by space aliens who were reptiles. And they were here to take over, right? And then what? 6, 7 years later, David Icke comes out with his reptile thing. And now reptilians, it's a big topic. Everyone's talking about them, right? To me, this is predictive programming. It is. It's simulation theory. Well, what did we get? Again, early 80s, Terminator. What was that, 84? Right? From the future, coming back, all this thing about AI taking over and blah, blah. That is the prequel to The Matrix. The same lady wrote both books, and she says it's the prequel. Then we go into The Matrix, simulation theory, right? In the, what was that, early to mid-90s. Then early 2000s, a professor comes out and proposes simulation theory. And now it's everywhere and everyone's talking about it and they believe it. It's predictive programming, in my opinion. All of this is, and this is why we have to question everything. We can't just believe things because people are saying them, right? Because most of what people are saying is wrong. It's provably wrong. And this is a problem with the truth community at the moment, is we're being led. We're being led down pathways that go nowhere. We're being given rabbit holes you can spend years on and there's nothing at the end of them. All right, they are wasting our time and stealing our attention. When my opinion is we've got to get back to the earth. We are earthlings. Okay, we are not from space. We are not some digital blip in a matrix. It's not a prison planet. We are earthlings who have been led astray. Right? This is it. All the answers are in nature. All the abundance is in nature. It gives us everything we need. That, in my opinion, is where we need to get back to and get rid of all these silly stories that really, none of them existed, guys. 60, 70 years ago, they just didn't. These are all narratives that have been made up and fed to us by the mainstream media. But of course, as always, let me know your thoughts on that.
Tower from the 1901 World's Fair in Buffalo. Just look at that roaring waterfall, with water being pumped right in from the Niagaras. I'll show you footage of the rest of this World's Fair in another video. But just look at this tower alone. Does this look like it was built in 2 years' time? And then they demolished it 6 months later? I don't know what temporary material you're using, but in the harsh Buffalo winters alone, there's no way you'd build that temporarily and it would survive any inclement weather in Buffalo. And why would anyone waste their time with so much detail just for it to be torn down in 6 months? What a waste. This video alone should dispel the narrative. How are you making a roaring waterfall like that for a temporary structure? And that's just one of the massive waterfalls at this World's Fair. And before I go, here's a few more photos of this electric tower lit up at night. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
Tartarian Empire. The truth cannot be stopped.
The truth cannot be stopped. Yeah, it's all coming out. We are in the apocalypse. We are in the great unveiling. We are seeing through the veil, right? The veil is lifting. We are seeing the truth. And I've done a lot of videos on Tartaria. That's basically how I started my main channel. And it's one, because I can see it all out there. We can see the buildings. We can go and lick them and poke them, and they're real, right? We can study the timeline and see that it's clearly false. It makes no sense and nothing adds up. You know, like the World's Fairs, all just made from plasterboard, apparently, yet they had fountains. What were the fountains made of? And they don't talk about this. Who put all the plumbing for the fountains in? Right? They don't like to talk about these. It's just, oh no, they're all just temporary and we knocked them over, even though some of the buildings are still standing. So that's clearly a narrative that is not being pushed out very much by the mainstream. There is now a lot of AI channels suddenly popped up on YouTube, and they are being pushed out. So if you're watching them, I would take it with a large grain of salt what they're saying, right? Because the old trick is 80% truth, 20% lies. And that's how they get you in. And then they sprinkle their lies in there and they basically lead you astray. So just don't believe anything that you see or hear, right? Take it in, find it interesting, but don't judge it as right or wrong, good or bad, because you don't know. And as soon as you judge it as right, you're stuck, because you know the truth and you can never look at the other side. Same as if you judge it as wrong, right? And we see this all the time in like the shape of the earth argument, right? People have just taken a position, this is the absolute truth, and then they're stuck. And it's the same for any topic at all, right? Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself to make good decisions, to get a good perspective, to be able to put the story together in your mind, right? And then if no one else believes you, it doesn't matter. All right, it doesn't matter. The truth has got nothing to do with trying to make other people believe you. All right, it's your truth. We all have our own little world, and we should all have our own perspective.
1783 right there. People in the air. That's a World's Fair right there. And you see that they already had the technology to be in the air in 1783. So you could stage a whole bunch of alien invasions when the people don't even know that the technology that people were in the air in 1783 right there. This is why when you see like the Wright brothers and they like fake their airplane up in the air and it never lands, which is funny when you think about it, they were already in the air. 1783. People were already in the air, floating around, and you could stage alien invasions when you have things like this right there. There you go. And it's interesting, in the 1880s, they published articles that UFOs and flying saucers were invading the towns. Those are blimps. That's what that is. So the thing is they have been building this alien invasion, and the aliens are going to come and they're going to get us from outer space for a very long time. The same people, right? The same people, the same tiny hats that run the government in the 1800s are the same tiny hats who run the government in 2026.
The 1880s, guys. That's how long they have been pushing this space alien agenda. Right? And it's all, in my opinion, to take people away from the earth, right? To make you feel small and insignificant, and basically to make you more controllable and to put fear into you, all this kind of stuff, right? But all these agendas have been going a long time, Check out the film Metropolis from the 20s. That's an interesting watch. But yeah, airships as UFOs. Does anyone remember back in the 80s, probably into the 90s, what was one of the most popular types of UFOs that was seen? A cigar-shaped UFO. Do you remember that? The cigar-shaped UFOs. Sound much like an airship?
I'm sorry, but none of this seems real. Like, at all. You've probably heard by now, a suspect armed with knives and guns tried to storm the White House Correspondents' Dinner tonight. The guy's name was Cole Allen, and he was very quickly neutralized by security. But then people online started to do a little bit of noticing. Pause to read. Yeah, I don't know about you, but it's starting to look like one big show, beginning with what Caroline Levitt said right before the start of the event.
It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room.
This, by the way, is Trump's first time attending the White House Correspondents' Dinner as president, and CNN ran this article a few hours before saying to expect the unexpected. Within an hour of the incident, Trump tweets out a video of the shooter running through the event. Even though still, for some reason, we can't get any moving pictures of Tyler Robinson. Then it turns out the shooter, Cole Allen, worked at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Very interesting timing given all the UFO stories, so cue the conspiracy theorists on this one. And then there were the reactions, starting with Erica Kirk being Erica Kirk.
I just want to go find you.
I have to say, she looks very upset here, like way more upset than when her husband. Blech. Then we got Dana White just loving this whole thing.
It started getting noisy. Tables getting flipped over, guys running in with guns, and they were screaming, "Get down!" I didn't get down. It was fucking awesome. I literally took every minute of it in, and it was a pretty crazy, unique experience.
Totally normal reaction to what is supposedly a presidential assassination attempt. But the most ridiculous thing has to be maybe this coordinated influencer campaign saying this is why Trump needs a new ballroom.
I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it.
We officially live in the dumbest timeline ever.
Yes, it's a pretty dumb timeline that we found ourselves in, right? It's so dumb. It's crazy. And I mean, people at the presidential dinner getting interviewed like Dana White, swearing on TV. Like, how did it get to this, right? At least we used to have the illusion that these people had some kind of intelligence and integrity, but now they're just a bunch of idiots, clearly. Like, he was like a teenager. Oh, it was awesome, mate. Oh, shots were fired. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's officially the dumbest timeline that I've ever been in. Anyway, crazy. And out of all this, and it's clearly false flag. This stuff is all made up. None of it's happening, guys. It's only happening in the simulated 2D world, right? That's the only place it happens. And what's the agenda here? Well, now they have to build the ballroom, or is that the ballroom? Because everyone's been against that, right? They're like, why is Trump spending all this money? Well, do you think this gives them a reason to go ahead? Quite a few people, well, of course they need it, right? He's doing it for the safety of all the government people who are just there to help you because they love you so much as they steal all your resources and money. But there you go, guys. That was a romp through the strange realm that we find ourselves in. Please, if you enjoyed it, do give me a like, share it around, hype it up, all that good stuff. And of course, if you are not subscribed, what the bloody hell are you doing? Hit the subscribe button. And of course, do leave me your comments. What do you think about all these things, this crazy timeline we found ourselves in? Because it's getting weird out there. But again, out there in the 2D world, none of it's real. Like, seriously, I'm sure some things are real, but everything that is pumped out at us, it's all fabricated. It's all part of a story, all part of the script. So don't get attached to it. Don't get into fear. It's just a laughable. I mean, I don't know. It's stupid. It's laughable. And what we really need to focus on is solutions, because when we're in fear and we're attaching our emotions to this kind of stupidity, these stories, then we're controllable and we don't do anything. Okay. And we expect these people to change it for us. We are disempowered. We are the ones we've been waiting for. And we are the only ones who are going to change this. There's no voting your way out of stupidity. But there you go, guys. Thanks for spending some time with me. Stay awesome, and I'll talk to you on the next upload. Bye for now.
Did you just call me a bitch? Did you call me a bitch? Yeah. Why?
No, you don't talk to me like that. Stop it.
Do you think that throwing a tantrum and yelling at me is gonna... Let me finish the question. Okay.
Benji. Hey.
Hey, you. You.
He's ignoring the shit out of you.
Look at me.
Bagel.
They've always been here.
Bagel.
Honey, and this is sister.
Bagel.
Hello, ladies.
Bagel.
Honey.
All I'm saying is don't give me attitude.
I can't help you at the moment, dude. I'm a little indisposed.
Tonight's is now an official sponsor of the NFL.
Hold on. You're stealing my job.
I don't want to steal it.
Oakley, come here.
I'm alone.
Come here. Come here! You know you're not supposed to be downstairs. Go upstairs.
Because I don't know why you even left it open. If you was done, you'd have came... Girl.
You take 6 feet back. Back up. Back up. What the hell?